Okay, all thanks for joining us for our safety meeting today. I don't have my vote done yet. This one's kind of a dry subject, but this is one of our OSHA topics that we have to cover each year. We're going to be talking about blood-borne pathogens. Yep, it's that training again. We just want to make sure you all understand the hazards associated with bodily fluid transfer and how to avoid it and what you should do if things happen. So, blood-borne pathogens, what are they? They're infectious microorganisms in human blood that can cause disease in humans. You know, there's everything from hepatitis B, hep C, HIV, all that kind of thing. There are a laundry list of stuff out there that we are probably not going to ever be exposed to, or a high probability we would not, but we want you to understand what to do if this comes about. You know, you're not required to render first aid. We are not at a high-risk occupation for blood transfer. You can choose to be the Good Samaritan. There is Good Samaritan laws in the state of Wyoming that you can render aid if needed. But you don't have to. Yes, you must stop at an injury accident. That is a state law. If you have an injury accident in front of you and you're there, you do have to stop. But nothing says you have to render aid. So there's not a big chance that we'll be exposed to bodily fluids. But if you are, we'll ensure that there's some blood draws, that kind of thing, for baseline levels. Just then they test you and all that to see if you do have an exposure. There are some vaccinations that help with some of the hepatitis stuff that we will take care of. But our key to preventing bloodborne exposure is to immediately wash with soap and water, especially if you have cuts in the exposed areas, that kind of stuff. You want to get those stuff clean. And it's called universal precautions. Assume that all bodily fluids are infected with something, unless you know otherwise from yourself. You know, that's a whole different story. But you don't know. You just don't know what could be out there. If you do have an exposure, we can build the baseline records for you. As I said, we'll get tests done, all that kind of thing. Those records are maintained with us for your record of employment plus 30 years that shows some kind of workplace exposure. You know, we're not like the first responders, fire, EMS, police, that kind of thing, that have a high probability of contacting this kind of stuff. And we'll go into our safety theme for the month, customer expectations. Why do we need to focus on customer expectations? You know, they're the backbone of our business. Without them, we don't have a job or a company. And are we just a crude hauling company? No, we're really not. We're a service company. We provide a service to the customers who produce the oil, as well as the marketers that buy this oil. And without them, we really have nothing. So we have to abide by our customers' rules and policies on locations. Our own, even our marketers require us to do them. The marketers are our customers also. And why should we be worried about the most unhappy customer being our greatest source of learning? Think about it. You know, you get great service at a restaurant. Do you tell many people? Nah, not really. You might tell one or two. But think about it when you've had just rotten service. You'll tell all kinds of people how bad it is. And it's the same here. If we provide very poor quality service and not following their expectations and rules, our customers will talk. And just think about social media in today's world, how fast bad news travels. You can do everything 110% right and be just shining, and you don't see anything of that on social media. A little goof up, it's all over the place. So think about how those actions could cost us customers or that kind of stuff. And one of the big things, does Prairie pay your wage? Yep, they give you a check, it's direct deposited. But really, in the words of Henry Ford, it's not the employer who pays your wage. It's our customers. Prairie only handles the money. Your customer is paying the wage. And this is how we need to focus on to keep us running. That our customers want us hauling their oil. Our marketers wanting us to deliver their oil. So we got to think about customer service. That's how great it is. We are truly in a customer service business and not just a crude hauler or just a truck driver or just a water hauler. It's customer service all the way. Crude volumes, there was 53,000 barrels the other day on the 6th. That's some great work. And we had more drop loads that day because of double dispatches and things like that, or you guys got out there and found no oil. We had less crude hauled yesterday with fewer drop loads. Why? A lot of lines at the LACs. We're aware of that. We talked in our management meeting today about the length of time you guys are sitting in line at the LACs. 2, 3, 3.5, 4 hours. That we need to try to get something different with that. You guys have recovered really pretty well from that snowstorm, but there's still a lot of oil out there that we got to try to work on. And we're talking about some different strategies to try to make that work. Water volumes really increased too. From on the 31st when Joelle, our one and only leaser at the time, she went out there and kept a well from getting closed in by herself on New Year's Eve. But now they're really kicking it again. They had some flowbacks come online. Excuse me. That they're really doing well. Texas, they're still holding in really well. They got a new leaser on board with them, who is also training a driver for them, so he can bring on 2 trucks to help us down there. Their crude volume is going to go up also. Couple job postings. There's an operations support coordinator. It's an internal posting. That's for Kim's position. To take over doing payroll and all the operational support. There's also going to be a safety training admin person to help in training. That's external and internal. They'll help file and do onboarding training, reaching out to our trainers when they have trainers, and conduct audits with them and work with them. If you're interested in those, see Sarah for the complete details of those positions. Thank you. And if you're interested, apply with a letter and a resume to her. We're trying to close out 2018, and I know it says today was our last day of it, but if you have not done our employee survey, please do so. It's an online link, it's anonymous. But we want to know what you guys are thinking, especially since June, when we kind of changed things, how things have changed. We need that feedback to see which direction we need to go and what we need to do as a management team for you. And again, make your life better. Let's make some life decision changes. Everybody thinks on, new goal, let's do weight loss. There's all kinds of things, from stopping smoking, eating healthier. Maybe you want to set some financial goals for that kind of stuff. That you want to get out of debt, and you're going to take these steps to do those. Talk with Sarah and Kim by the 11th. As you can read there, we're kind of doing the Calcutta deal there. You could win some money off of this. Meet your goals for the quarters. Be whatever it is. There's some sign-up sheets there with what you want to do for your goals and how you think you can make those. And then we'll report in with Kim and Sarah to see how we're doing. We all need to get healthier lifestyles or better lifestyles. Even Shell challenged us, be healthier. That's one of their topics for this year. And that we need to look at some of those things, because let's face it, we don't all eat the healthiest and live the healthiest or read as much or save as much. There's all kinds of things out there. And again, if you're interested in participating in our in-house chili cook-off, see me. I have the rules and an application. We're going to do it right here on Friday the 25th. Bring your best chili. We also need judges if anybody's willing to judge for our chili cook-off. Sarah has some prizes that she's got to award to the top 3 places. So feel free. It's kind of a fun team builder thing there.
Leasers also.
Yep, we push that out to the leasers. We want leasers to participate.
Will there be beer?
No beer in here, sorry. But come see me. I have that. ELDs. We still got to talk about this, guys. We're having the worst time getting logs certified. You have to certify your logs daily. An uncertified log is not a legal log. If you cannot correct something, we cannot correct if you're over hours and driving. We can't fudge those. That's a DOT document. But if you forget a brake or something like that, we can help you out. But just because you have a violation, you can't just leave it hanging out there as an uncertified log. If you get stopped, yeah, that trooper's going to start digging a lot deeper on things. We're still having issues with the 30-minute break being forgotten. Before you finish your shift, before you sign off for the day, go in there and edit that. Put it in there so it won't throw a violation if you have the place to put it in. If not, call Gilby, Brian, myself. We'll try to get you fixed or help you through it. For the leasers that use personal conveyance, remember, that's only when you're not under dispatch. You can't have a load on you. You can't use it to say, I'm going to run to my next location and hit the sleeper for 10 hours, because you're actually bettering the company by going to that one. It's if you're going home, if you live in Midwest and Wright and Casper. If you're parking your trucks in our yard, this is the terminal. You couldn't use personal conveyance as a owner-op to come to our yard. It's your remote areas, like you live in Wright, you live in Midwest, you live in Glen Rock. You can use it for that. And Brian is going through and assigning unassigned miles. If you run out of hours, don't just sign out and keep on trucking, because those miles are going to come back and get assigned to you. We still see a lot of them coming from the LAC in Sinclair to the yard. The guys are just signing off. Those get assigned back, and it's going to put you in violation. The violation, if you were stopped, is by far more lenient, if you will, than if that trooper stops you and you're driving a commercial motor vehicle not even logged in. You got to log in. It is just killing reports that we have to pull. We have loads being delivered, but nobody signed into the truck. So who's loading the stuff? How is it getting from point A to point B? Prairie reports get flawed when you're not signing into a truck. It creates a lot of heartache with who and what. If you're training, make sure you sign in as the team drivers so it shows both of you. The trainers, of course, are going to be on the crew dispatch, but you have to be associated with that when they pull a report. Well, why wasn't Chad driving? They can look and say, oh, he had a trainee. Trainee's driving, and he's on duty because he's training. They understand that, but if you're not even in there and to associate with your load, that causes problems for them. So think about those and just remember that. Don't forget, next week on the 15th, on this meeting, Samson will be here for their annual training, and again on the 17th at the 6 a.m. meeting. We need to have as many people in here as possible so you can get signed off for Samson. We also have the pictures you have to take of your offload receipt for the crew dispatch stuff. Make sure you're taking pictures of the receipt. They don't need pictures of you, the driver's seat, the dash. There's a couple out there. They said, we have enough pictures of you already. Please send a picture of the ticket. So please make sure you take pictures of that offload ticket. If you're so inclined, we have boxes around here to help donate to the rescue mission. Read the things on the boxes or see Sabrina's front desk. She's got a list of items that they could use and need. Feel free to put those in there.
You want to mention that we have to have a run ticket in our truck all the time?
Yes. Even though you don't have to turn in your tickets, your pickup tickets or any of that, you need to print out one of those for the trucks. We had one stop the other day that he had no bill of lading in the truck. And he told the trooper, it's all electronic. Print one out. You have to have one in the truck, either full or residue. What do we do for the Thunder push-off? Well, we're going to talk about Thunder here in just a second, Jason. There we go, Thunder. A lot of crud up there. Stuff in the witch's hat that you pull off, you should clean out. That looks like tank lining in there that we should put in our buckets and bring back and dispose of. Stuff being dumped on the ground, rags being left in their drip pans, diapers, all that kind of thing. They will start banning people from Thunder if they see this kind of stuff continue, because they're trying to check it after each load. We've even got comments from other drivers going in there. Come on, our guys are leaving this stuff everywhere. We got to pick up after ourselves. We can't expect the next guy to do it, or the marketer, or whoever to clean up, because they won't do it. If you do not have a Thunder card, please let us know online here. And if you're in person, come see Kim after this. She will get it taken care of. And Jason, what are you referring to about the push off at Thunder? Jason's asking, what do we do about the push off at Thunder? So if you could expound on that, we'll see if we can get an answer for you.
What they're asking there is that one side is just a lacked.
It's for Wyoming refinery loads only.
The Wyoming refining, the one where you push off?
Yes.
Yeah,
There's Getty boxes, there's metal Getty boxes there that you push off into.
okay, the metal Getty boxes. Yeah, you push off into those. Please don't empty your hoses into the Getty box either. When you're done offloading, put a suck back on that and clean your hose out, because they're getting really upset with the amount of oil left in the Getty boxes.
Well, if they can't clean those out, because they should be able to hook right up to them and clean them out.
It's a
3-inch adapter on
Yeah.
2-inch on that one.
Is it a 2-inch on?
Yeah, it's a little 2-inch tube that goes down into the bottom.
Yeah, and with no tickets to take photo of, they're aware of those. Thunder doesn't produce a delivery ticket. They understand that. They know where you're going. They'll understand that you don't have a ticket from some places, like the Campbell Lac, the Pronghorn. Only those that do. Sinclair and the other places that produce that delivery ticket is what you need to take a picture of. Some of the stuff out of Texas that's going to be mentioned, speed on lease roads. They're fighting the same battle we are. Their lease roads are probably by far worse than what we see around here, and it's just beating the tar out of the equipment. Slow down. Our maintenance costs are ridiculous, and down there is even worse, because you have to make an appointment to get to a mechanic. Because I don't think we have a mechanic down there yet to work on our stuff. Gilby's trying to work on that. But it's down there, if you damage or destroy some equipment, you might get an appointment for the 1st of March. And the trouble is, they want the truck there in case they can move you up. So this truck's down for quite a while. So in Texas, slow down on these lease roads. They are bad. Even up here, we've seen a decrease in some of our maintenance costs because guys are slowing down on the lease road. But not enough yet. Slow it down. Don't beat the equipment to death. That's your moneymaker. That's what keeps us going. And if your truck's down, you know, each and every one of you in here and online don't like it when your truck's down. So let's try to take care of what we have. As well as in Wyoming, check your cab card book. Make sure everything's current. Make sure everything you need is in there. Especially you Cheyenne drivers. Make sure all the Colorado stuff is in there. The vapor test, Colorado permits for the quads and trips and the tractor.
That should be a part of your pre-trip, especially if you're jumping from truck to truck to truck.
Yeah, and grease is cheap. Bobby, I see you mentioned that. They do have a guy in the shop now that's his sole purpose is greasing.
There's grease packs in the supply trailer in Gillette.
And in Gillette, Sean wants to pass on, there are grease packs in the supply trailer in the yard, if you have to.
You got anything you need to cover, Jason?
I don't think so.
Or Gilby?
Well, one of the things I wanted to cover, we just completed probably one of our busiest months that Prairie's ever had in history. And we know that we had those snowstorms and the holidays. I give you guys all props. We, as a company driver, in the past, it's always been the leasers that have carried us. We hauled, it was one of our best days all year, was over Christmas, and you guys hauled more oil than we have the rest of the year. So you guys really stepped it up. We had less company employees on vacation during that time. But as you know, we're been getting busier and busier and busier, and with that snowstorm, it really pushed us back. And we're doing the best we can to catch up on this volume. Every single one of our customers, every single one of our producers is getting concerned if Prairie's able to keep up on this volume. I know we've also kind of got on you guys about some of the weights that you're hauling, but we have to do it legally. But I'm asking all of you guys to step it up. If you're scheduled to work a day, please work that day. if you work your shift, we expect every single driver to put in at least 12 hours during their shift. I'm seeing a lot of days on a lot of drivers where they got 3-4 hours left and they just go home because they want to keep the truck on schedule. Or maybe they feel they've already made enough money for the day. We do need you guys to commit the 12 hours that we expect you to. And if dispatch doesn't have a load on you, you got some time left, please ask for one. It's going to be more in your pocket, and it's going to help us get this volume down. We forecast what we can do based on the number of drivers we have, the number of trucks, and we do count on. We take an average for what we've hauled for the last, quarter, and if it says that our drivers are averaging 2.8 loads per shift, that's what we forecast off. And I've been seeing more and more guys only hauling 2 loads. I know with the conditions, the weather we have out there, maybe we're just beat for the day. That's one of the reasons why the industry pays as well as it does. If we were doing this down in Florida, other than hurricane season, everybody'd want to do it. Only be an $8 an hour job. We signed up for these conditions, and we do expect the guys to work in them that have committed to us. So, but we do appreciate what you have been doing, and you guys have been doing a good job at it. We've had, as busy as we've been the last couple of weeks, we've had a few incidents, but they've just been minor ones. You guys are doing a great job. You guys have all stepped up. We're working better as a team, but we do need to make sure that we're following our days through. Did you mention anything about Devin and these seals?
No, I don't.
You want to cover that? I think
Sure.
you know more than I do on that.
Guys, seals on tanks, regardless of producer. Devin is watching it very close. If you cut the seal, you've bought the load. If you only got 60 barrels on and all of a sudden you do a sample and go, oh, I'm too wet, you need to shut it down. You cannot push it back. That 60 barrels is what you got. And you got to seal it and leave a ticket for that. We cannot cut seals, push it back, and then try to reseal a cut seal. That's wrong. As soon as it's cut, that load's bought. You cannot do that. We've talked about that now for 3 weeks, and we still have seals being cut and loads being pushed back especially on Devon's. Now you bought that load, you're going to have to take it. Whether we go to IGO and get it hot oiled or whatever, it's going to be costly. But make sure it's good to take.
Did you introduce Rich?
No, Rich, come on over.
I
Guys,
don't want to take too much time. I just basically wanted to start out by saying thank you guys. 2018 was another stellar, fantastic year, for us with you guys. I tell Alan and I tell David and even Alan Welsh, I kind of brag about Prairie because I go all over the U.S. for Shell and cover a lot of regions and a lot of different carriers. And you guys are kind of my one I like to brag about because, obviously this year you guys had the driver of the year. He came out of North Dakota. He's now in West Texas. I'm very proud of that. And, Prairie should be. Also, the care challenge that we did, and you guys had the other winner. So I guess what I'm saying is Prairie, every time we seem to do an award celebration, it seems to be Prairie. So again, thank you. KPIs wise, you guys had one motor vehicle incident with us. That was the rollover. After investigation, we deemed that to be non-preventable. And with that was a small spill. So knock on wood, that was a fantastic year. I'm looking to go into 2019 and do the same. I just got the email today for the driver of the year for this year, so I'm hoping you submit somebody. And we also are rolling out with a different program, kind of along the lines with yours, for our safety day, with evolving care, and basically your guys is taking care of your guys' self. It's difficult. You guys, I know you're out there 12 to 14 hours a day or better. You're in a truck. You're basically stopping at a truck stop, and that's your food. So we're trying to think of ways to try and keep you guys healthy, because if you're healthy, you don't call in sick, and you can work, and obviously you move the oil. So let's see here. Our theme for this month is keeping the cab clean. So if somebody is out here and they're from Shell and they're talking to you and it's not myself and they ask you if you know what our safety day, our safety theme of the month is, it's basically you just tell them keeping your cab clean. And that's what it is. And the reason being that is believe it or not, we've had a few accidents around in different regions where those objects, the cabs were dirty, they became projectiles. And, they literally either went through the windshield or they hurt the driver. We had one driver that literally got quite a bit of his face damaged by his own lunchbox. So it's just, something to think about. One other change that we have that you guys will start seeing starting next week, if any of you guys have hauled crude up in this area in the last few years, you probably remember a group called the Foley Group. They were out doing observations and doing checks for us. We've decided to bring them back because, to be quite frank, I just can't get up here. My schedule is so busy that I'm lucky to get up here now once every couple of months. So we're going to bring them back. That being said, their job, I want to be very clear just so you guys know, is not any kind of disciplinary. It is to strictly observe, document, and then pass to you got prairie management and myself. I also tell you guys that if you guys are in your routine, you're doing your thing, if they approach you and you don't feel comfortable, there is nothing wrong with saying, I'm in my routine, let me do my routine, happy to talk with you at the end. I don't want them to delay you any longer than a few minutes. I know you have a busy day, a lot of loads to haul, So if there is an issue, please let Alan and them know if somebody is, if they're talking to you twice in a day, I really don't see the value in that. If they talk to you once, they don't really need to stop you on every load.
Can I add something on the Foley Group? So
Yeah.
The Foley Group is going to be using pretty much the same criteria that we do on our driver audit. Some things to keep in mind. One of the big things, Foley Group, they're going to ask you if you know any of the life-saving rules. They want to hear those 4 that pertain to driving. Who can give me those right now?
Seatbelt.
Seatbelt?
No cell phones.
No cell phones?
Smoking,
Alcohol and drugs?
No walking under
Dirty management plan.
gas
Dirty
detection.
management plan. That's the other one
There
I
you
wanted
go.
to hear. What's our maximum speed limit here?
80.
65. So another question they're going to ask is they might ask you if you know what goal 0 is. Now, when we put you all through training, we call it destination 0. And I've already talked with Tanner to pass it on when they question us if, to maybe remind you guys of destination 0, because I know when I was out there and someone asked me what goal 0 is, I'm like, I don't know.
Right. Again, a lot of it is the way they'll terminology they put things. I tell people, keep it simple is, our life-saving rules or whatever you want to call it, they're an industry standard. These things are across the board. They're at Devon, they're at Marathon, they're at, Sinclair, they're ours. They're all the same. We just all kind of term it a different way. So, if he happens to or she question you on something and you're not quite sure, ask him to explain. What exactly are you asking me? And again, I don't want you guys to look at it as like these guys are out, looking for things, because I've been very clear with them. I want them to come back here for one objective, and that is strictly do observations that, and good ones, because I want to see the good ones too, and pass them back to us for our feedback. And that's really what it's for. Other than that, thank you guys. You guys are, this, you guys both know this. I like dealing with you guys. I rarely ever get a phone call, and you guys just handle business. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
Yeah.
Any questions from you guys?
We're not keeping our trucks on a 12-hour schedule anymore. Just work at 14.
No, they're still trying to keep the 12-hour schedule.
That's what he just said. You got an extra 3 or 4 hours. You got to try to get it low.
I'm talking about your 12-hour shift. But I mean, yeah, if we have to pass it up, a half an hour, if a half an hour being late.
Well, and we're understanding that, but we were told here a while back with Kyle, if we got 3 or 4 hours left, go get another load. We'll pick you up alongside the road someplace and run out of hours. A lot of us will get 2 loads in, and we may have 3 hours left in that shift, but we still don't have enough time to go all the way back out there and get a load and complete that load. If you guys want to start working more,
Yeah,
we'll work more. We're just asking.
common sense on that. There's several drivers out there that have plenty of time to pick up a load and probably even deliver it. And there's some that have time to pick up the load and bring it back and let their swap partner deliver it. Now, if we do have to go more into towards our 14 hours, right now we do need to move volume. Our customers, and I'm pretty sure Rich can even, EOG.
Believe me, I got an earful all holiday. And again, thank you guys. You guys stepped up. So I'm not here to say you didn't, but so you guys know, I can tell you, if you think you guys don't just hear it, believe me, I got called all the way Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. I was sending emails, they drill the holes and they don't give a shit. They drill the holes, the oil flows, they want it moved. And he's right. I mean, it was not just you guys, it's across the board. It's every carrier up here,
And just to be clear, all you guys did a great job. We're just trying to find out how we can catch up. That snowstorm, that's the first time that I remember in Prairie's history down in Wyoming that we had to shut down an entire field, that we had 18 trucks stranded out there, 8 of them in day cabs, some of them with 2 people in the trucks. But we just need to catch up on that. You guys all did wonderful job in getting us to where we're at now. And that snowstorm wasn't any of your fault, but we're just trying to catch up where we can now, and we'll definitely, try to get the truck back on schedule. But if we can get one extra load back to Casper, especially if you're out by the Campbell area and we get another load in, I mean, that's what we want to do if it can be done legally.
You guys online have any questions at all?
Josh, did you have anything to talk about trucks, mechanics and stuff?
Just on DVIRs, a couple things.
You want to?
Yeah.
So they can hear you a little better.
So I know a lot of you guys got the impression that if you write up on DVR, it doesn't get fixed, and honestly, it's not. It's not the truth. We are extremely busy, trying to knock out a lot of trucks all the time, but it is probably the most sure way of us fixing what you guys are having issues with, because it does end up in a file down in the shop, and we do pull it when your truck does come in the shop. There's some prioritizing when it comes to that kind of stuff, just because of the volume of trucks that come through every day. But just make sure you guys are writing up all your issues on DVIRs. If it's not a DOT item, if it's something like adding a work light to a centrifuge box, something like that, you don't have to put it in every day, because we print them off every day, and it will get the attention it deserves as soon as we can get to it. I just wanted to touch on that. A couple other things. Try not to bug the mechanics too much down the shop, because they're all on jobs. Come find me. Come find Summer. We'll get your issue resolved. Try to leave them alone as much as you can, because they're trying to cram out these trucks. And the more you distract them, the more it puts us behind. So if we can do that, that'd be great. That's all I really got. So.
I have one other thing that's kind of affecting the shop. I've noticed some of you guys will pull your truck back around over on this corner over here so you can carry your stuff closer to your car. But I've personally witnessed a couple times that it impedes us getting trucks in and out of the shop. So please don't, transfer on this side of the lot unless your truck's actually coming in the shop. And please try to avoid blocking the north side. I've watched a lot of people swap over there too. They'll just park their trucks there. They just run into the office to grab something for a minute, but we'll have a mechanic. He'll pop open the door. He's going to drive out. Now he's got to wait or move the truck. So just please keep that in mind, to help speed up efficiency in the shop, to not block, their lanes of travel as well.
All right, if nobody has anything else, thanks for attending today.
Yeah, one other thing I do
Oh,
have though.
hold on, one sec.
Seals and stuff, you guys pick them up off the ground if you see them. I've been finding a bunch of them at well sites. So if we can, just make sure housekeeping. Just throw them in your metal bucket, throw them away here at the yard. Same thing as always.
That should be whether it's ours or not.
Yeah.
We understand the pumpers are throwing seal down they don't want. Pick them up. They're standing around doing nothing for 45 minutes anyway. We've lost chip before some of the other companies. I've seen locations go bye-bye because we didn't pick up the seals. Pumper's a pumper. You'll blame it on whoever you can as long as you don't have to do it.
Yeah, especially when they say prairie on them. They know exactly where they come from. And when there's a trail of them all the way across the front of the loading area, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, if you guys couldn't hear him talking there, just general housekeeping. Pick up the seals out there. Finding a lot of them on the ground out there again. Nobody has anything else? Thanks for coming. And if you are a short service employee under 6 months, reach out to your supervisors for any training you may have, IVMS lines, or any questions you have. Thank you much.